Whoa, whoopsie. Alright, there we go. That's right. After playing a Mario Game Boy game, I decided I needed to play the true platforming hero, Kirby. In the peaceful world of Dreamland is in great danger. Dreamland dreams always flowed from the wonderful Fountain of Dreams. The Fountain of Dreams collected the hopes and dreams of all living things. It was also responsible for the sweet dreams and rest that come from deep sleep. But one day, everyone in Dreamland lost the ability to dream. Aw. King Dedede was bathing in the Fountain of Dreams. If you have a fat penguin bathing in the Fountain of Dreams, you're not gonna have that sleep. He had taken the Star Rod, the source of the fountain's power, and broken it into pieces, which he gave to his underlings. Now Kirby must embark on an adventure to restore peaceful nap times to all the residents of Dreamland. Classic Kirby plots. Something goes wrong, Kirby doesn't care. Until he's gotta go and fix it. If it's sleep or food, he'll take care of it. Now we're gonna just go ahead and nuke this file. And now we got a wonderful file to play through. Alright. As you can tell, I've played this game several times. And this is one of my favorite parts about classic handheld Kirby. The start screens are adorable. Welcome to Vegetable Valley. Level 1. Alright. So right off the bat, this game is a remake of a Kirby game. It is a remake of Kirby's Adventure for the NES. Now I actually do have the original Kirby's Adventure, but I wanted to play this version because honestly I just think it's pretty much better in every way. Especially for recording purposes. Oh, no, turn around. And my old nemesis, the GameCube D-pad is back. But the biggest thing, if you're familiar with Kirby at all, couple things that you should probably know about Kirby's moveset is by clicking B, you inhale. By clicking B again, you spit out, which you've just inhaled as a little star bolt. Now by clicking down, if you inhale certain enemies, they'll give you certain copy abilities, like this one here, I have a spark. Now in most Kirby games, you click a direction, you click B, and oh shoot, and you'll be able to do different types of moves. However, Kirby's Adventure was actually the first game the copy ability was introduced, so it's a little simpler. Instead of having a bunch of different moves per power-up like you'd have, say, in Kirby Superstar, you just have the one. So you just click B, and the power will do whatever it does. And if you click pause, you'll see a little description. So for Spark, it's as usual, you know. But I'll do my best to try to show every power-up. I definitely have biases with the power-ups, so I will be using all sorts of different ones, and I'll definitely keep some longer than I'll keep others. But this is a pretty easy Kirby game if it's your first. Kirby's not really known for difficulty, but I think there are some difficult Kirby games out there. The one that comes to mind is Planet Robobot for me. The True Arena really kicked my butt the first time I played it. And as you can see with this goal game, oh, and we're done with the goal game, strike the ground. At that goal game, you just have to click A once the spring hits as its lowest point to give you the highest boost up. So here we go. Oh, shoot. That there is a Gordo. It is an invincible enemy. Kirby can't inhale it or hurt it in any way. It's just there to be an obstacle. Oh, hello. Oh, we got little cannons. Waddle Doo is the name of this little guy here. One of the best Kirby enemies in the game. And we got Sir Kibble, who gives us Cutter. Cutter is very useful. I don't know if we'll necessarily see some of its utility in this level, but it is a mainstay of the series, and there is a good reason for that. It is good at what it does. It doesn't have great damage. Oh, shoot. Ah! And this here is our first mid-boss. Hoppy Bro. Oh, shoot. he will shoot bombs out at you and jump from side to side, and that's about it. He's not too difficult, but due to me kind of messing around earlier, I got hurt. Now, in most games, he would give you a bomb, but not in this game, since bomb's not in this game. Instead, we get Crash, and I don't want to use it. Crash is one of those abilities that, oh shoot, alright. It's a screen wipe. So it's one-time use. Once you use it, you don't have it anymore, but all enemies on the screen will just get obliterated. And if you're fighting a boss, it'll just deal a lot of damage, which is nice. These little guys, like the guy bouncing on the apple, is Poppy Bro Jr. They don't give you anything, unfortunately. Which actually, that is one thing I will say. Some of the copyability choices in this game are very clearly, were dropped for good reason. Certain abilities aren't amazing. Most of them remain mainstays in the series, but some of them are a little weird. If you ever want to drop the power-up you're carrying, just click select, and Kirby will spit it out. I got sword now, another personal favorite. These guys are cappies. So the top of their mushroom head, when you inhale them, gives you a projectile spit out and kill them with the second hit. Oh, shoot. Typically, I'm pretty good at this little goal game. So the goal game just will give you points, but also tends to give you lives if you get to the top. So it's typically pretty good to get to the top. The goal game's brought back in several other Kirby games with better rewards. As you see, as you beat the stages, you'll unlock more and more of the map to explore. Not everything you'll unlock will just be levels. Like, you might have this little bonus game here, which I'll go into in a second. Boop. There we go. Bomb Rally. So, another classic Kirby thing, sub-games. Every Kirby game has them. They vary for how good they are, but actually I think the ones in here are pretty good. And especially with the... especially if you're playing this on a Game Boy, you can link up your Game Boy with other people and be able to play this cooperatively, which is really cool. And just gotta click A in time to make sure you don't blow up. And that little guy there is called Bubbles, which I actually didn't know until I was looking through some notes for making this series. Which is just kind of funny. There's so weird. A lot of the Kirby enemy names are really weird, but I also really like them. There we go. Get out of here, freaking Bubbles. Just gotta get this green Kirby. Oh, whew. If it went on any longer, I definitely wouldn't have been able to knock that back. But, I mean, for doing these goal games, you get lives. Again, it's a Kirby game. It's not super difficult. But having those extra lives actually really helps for later in the game, because there are a couple points where some of the boss fights can be a little difficult, especially since your copy abilities are so limited. One problem I always have coming back to this game is, since I'm so used to the expanded version of the copy abilities, it's really hard for me to get used to the one button approach. Alright. There we go. Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and pick up Flame. Or Burning. I call it Flame. That is not a real thing. Burning. So Burning basically takes the other half of what we consider to be the fire ability in most Kirby games, which is the dash attack. And that's just all you get. It is really good, because you get those invincibility frames. Oh no, oh shoot. Eat. See, versus fire, which is still good and does a lot of damage, but it's nowhere near as fun. And this little guy here is called Coomer. And I just think that's hilarious. Now, as you see, when you go underwater, you don't have access to your copy ability anymore, and you just have this little water gun. Oh, come on. There we go. The cool thing about the water gun is you can shoot in any direction, plus you get this adorable little snorkel. Which instantly makes Kirby 1,000 times better. There we go. Oh, yeah. So, here we go. We're just gonna move through some of these levels, and we'll go through... Oh, I just want that. I don't... Oh, I didn't need it, and now I do. So you can inhale certain items a little closer to you, as you saw. Oh, shoot. I have select mapped to... Oh, I didn't even click the button. Oh, no. I know, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm gonna stab the ground in anger and run around for a little bit. So, another thing you'll find moving through the overworld are museums. So museums just give you free copy abilities, which is great. Especially since I don't want fire. Sword is awesome. Sword is my life. And it has a little more utility. You'll notice when I jump with sword, I do actually do something different from just my normal swing. I don't just swing in the air. I do a little twirl. Certain abilities have this. I'll try to point it out as it comes up. But that is just a change that they made for this version of the game. It wasn't in the original NES version, I don't believe. Oh, and this is Mr. Frosty doing the butt bump. And I know I just said sword is my life now, but I gave it... Oh, I wanted ice. Oh, okay. I wanted that frosty booty. And now we're gonna hit... Brontobert was that flying thing's name, and they're also a classic... I don't want to say Goomba, because Waddle Dee's like the Goomba, but they're the flying Goomba. They're the Paragoombas of Kirby. And then these little tiki boys are called Kaboo, and they're kind of a weird enemy. They teleport all around. Other than that, they're pretty easy to avoid. Don't give any power-ups. Oh, come on. Get out of here. Jump, jump. And here's an example of how that Cappy gets taken care of. There's the Kaboo. Ah! I believe this guy's called Needler? Or something like that? I'd have to get back to you on Needler. Really creative naming scheme. These are Waddle Dees, the guys I just killed, versus Waddle Doos. Waddle Doos just have the one eye. Waddle Dees are precious and shall be saved during the apocalypse, which we're now experiencing. Oh, God. Alright, so as this is the second series on the channel, I do just want to kind of pop in a couple extra things about how I'm going to be recording a lot of these videos. In order to get a lot of content... Oh, so what I just grabbed a couple seconds ago was invincibility candy. Makes Kirby invincible for a short while and plays this just beautiful little jingle. Oh, and it's over. And I got a 1-up. Sweet. But yes, I'm recording a lot of these videos in advance, so if you comment and I don't respond, or you have a question you want to ask and I don't necessarily address it in a video, that's why. Anything people comment about that I feel like needs to be addressed, I can do a follow-up video after the series is wrapped up. But these first two series, like I said, are going to be a little shorter, a little easier for me to handle, and just in general, I'm just going to be recording them in bulk. So there's that, but that is not going to be normal for the channel going forward. It's just going to be for the first couple series. And this is, of course, the classic boss, Wispy Woods. Useless tree, and I love him for it. He drops apples. The apples will hurt you. You can also inhale the apples in order to damage him. And then he breathes air, and the air is a little hard to avoid, but not by much. You can literally just stand by him with Needle and break him down. One of the reasons I like Needle so much. Doesn't give you a lot of mobility, but especially in this game, you cover a lot of area with Needle. Oh yeah, and now level 2, the Ice Cream Islands. We'll go ahead and tackle this next time. Since we just covered the entirety of the last level in just 15 minutes. Like I said, this is going to be a shorter series. I'm going to try to keep the episodes to around 15 minutes. But if you have any comments or anything you want me to address during this series or in future series, any games you want to see played, go ahead and leave a comment. Would appreciate it if you guys subscribed. Like I said in Mario 2, if you hadn't, or not Mario 2, Super Mario Land 2. And I am going to be trying to update the channel about twice weekly. These first couple series are going to be going in tandem. Depending on what I make, I don't necessarily know how long that's going to be going that way, but we'll see.